can see my mic doing stuff. Let's make sure we can hear you since it gave us problems before you're plugged in. I know last time I said there'd be a day where I'd eventually not do this, but we recently changed things. So, say something.
I don't know what to say. I did figure out some milestones for one of our projects for next year. And then...
Okay. I'm just making sure that we can hear you. Whoa, yours is a lot louder than mine.
That's because I talk louder than you.
Well, your gain may be higher too. Which I think we tap it until it's the first dot.
Mm-hmm.
How many dots is on there?
3.
Oh, okay.
Turn it down to 1.
Maybe turn it down to
2. Excellent.
Okay, well, hopefully we don't blast anybody's ears. But,
Yeah,
hi guys!
Hello!
We just saw Black Adam, so we want to do a quick review on it, get some of our thoughts and concerns out of the way.
Although I find it funny that we mentioned that we were going to call this section Reviews in the Dark, how none of our reviews have been in the dark.
They have not been in
I know we haven't done a lot of them recently, but life and schedules, they just haven't been where we thought they would be.
Well, it's because we used to go to the movies on Friday night.
And then we would be driving home in the dead of night.
So it's dark.
But we had an hour drive, and so we would talk about it, and so we were reviewing the movie in the dark.
But recently we have not been able to go on Friday night, so in fact we went today, Saturday morning.
Yeah. Which is new for us. Like,
yeah.
I just happened to have off and stuff, so. But anyway, what are your general thoughts on Black Adam?
I think it was fun. I mean, I like The Rock a lot.
He's one of my favorite actors. Not saying he's a great actor. I just like seeing him in stuff.
Yes. I think he just brings a good charisma to everything, even when he's playing an anti-hero.
Yep.
Which, okay, so I guess we should probably say full spoilers.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk everything the movie, so if you haven't seen it, we're going to spoil it here.
If you have seen it and you like what we're saying, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, or if you like supporting us, there's a link down below, I believe.
Yeah, we have a coffee link
in
our chat.
We're going to try, we have lots of plans for next year.
We really should do a sit down of that and let people know what we're thinking.
Oh, maybe, or maybe it'll be a surprise. You'll never know.
Direct look at the camera.
Yeah.
So I liked it. I mean, it wasn't like, this isn't a movie that I'm going to probably go back to anytime soon. Unlike, me, I rewatch things a lot.
She rewatches a bunch of stuff. I don't really tend to rewatch anything.
But I really only rewatch the things that I love.
If I rewatch something, it's usually because I love it.
Yes.
This won't be one of those.
No.
I also liked it. It's a very mediocre score for me. Like, if we were giving it a 1 through 10, it's in the middle to
6, 7.
Yeah, like a 6, 7. Like,
it's a fine movie.
It's fun,
a bad movie.
but it's fun because of The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock is really good in his role. He does really good in his role. But we have a few major problems with the movie. But there's some things I also really liked about the movie.
Yeah.
So Black Adam is an anti-hero. I think they nailed that in this movie.
You know it from the very beginning, too, because he's just willy-nilly killing all the bad guys.
Well, and he repeatedly says, I am not a hero. And at one point, I thought
keep saying it too.
I thought he was going to get annoyed with it because people were like, stop it, heroes don't do that. How many times I got to tell you, I am not a hero? And I seriously thought he was going to get upset. Why do people keep calling me? I am not a hero. Like, he says it easy 5 times in the movie.
Mm-hmm. He even says, I keep telling people I'm not a hero.
Yeah, but they nailed the very anti-hero stuff, right? Mm-hmm. To the point where the main lady, I don't even know her name, points out where she says, you might not be a hero, but your first instinct when you saw me in danger was to save me.
Yeah.
He's like, so yeah, sure, you kill people, but your first instinct was to save me.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, that's good enough. Like, and that nails the sentiment of what he is. He is an anti-hero. He doles out justice very black and white, but he is not necessarily here to save anybody.
Yeah. So, and I actually really like that line too. Why that keeps turning on? I really like that line too because it's honestly we hold our faux superheroes up to a really interesting standard. They can't kill people for some reason, and yet how many problems would be solved if Batman just killed the Joker? If Superman actually just killed, like, and don't they have him kill in Superman's movie, he kills Zod.
He does, yep, snaps his neck, yep.
Yeah, and he's like
torn up about it, yeah.
grieving over it. And so I'm like, for somebody like Superman who's just so good-hearted, like, killing somebody would be a terrible thing, but for somebody like Black Adam, he's like, I was the dad of a slave, my people were destroyed, like, this is justice to me, is seeing those who would enslave another people's...
Well, and even Black Adam has a good line of his own. He says, you say I'm doing it... You're saying I'm not doling out justice, but you're saying locking these people up so they have an opportunity to hurt, kill, or otherwise, rule over other people. He's like, to me, that's injustice. To the people. Not to the person, but to the people. He's like, so call it what you will, but I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
And so, like, and it wasn't exactly like that, but whatever his line was, it was to that point, right? And I was like, yes, these sentiments nail down what it is to be an anti-hero, and I thought they did really good at it. And I was happy with that, happy with The Rock's performance. He floats in the air, I would say 80% of the movie.
Yes, and so I noticed that. In fact, the final conversation between him and Hawkman, one of the final conversations, I'm like, he's floating an awful lot in this, but then he steps down and walks as a mortal man to Hawkman, and I was like, that was actually really impactful.
Yes, when his feet touched the ground was finally when Black Adam has his turn, and he has a line, again, full spoilers, he's like, I am going to say the words, and then you make sure I never say these words again.
Yeah.
Like, that whole moment, really good. I wish the whole movie was that good, but it wasn't.
Well, it's because at one point he's like, I was killed as a slave and came back as a god. So him touching the ground was almost like him being like, I can't be this anymore. I literally have to come down from my station and walk these grounds. It was really
good.
Like, I was surprised by how much that actually impacted me. Like, I was like, wow, this moment means a lot for this story.
It was really good. Other good moments were, again, towards the end. He's sitting on the throne.
Yeah, he keeps shifting.
Dialogue was terrible. Dialogue was terrible across the board. The kid was like, how does it feel? It's a rock stone, or a rock throne. How do you think it feels?
Yeah.
But, like, what a dumb line. But his response, because of the evolution of the character, was really good. He's like, it feels wrong. And he smashes it because he's like, I'm not here to rule people.
Yeah.
Even though in the comics, I'm pretty sure he ends up being, like, the ruler of Kahndaq. He's like, I am a protector, not your ruler. You're meant to be free.
And those can be two separate things.
Yes. And
I think they should be.
I thought that was good. They went and they nailed that. That was a really good scene. And then, just as a fanboy moment, I love the end credit scene. Henry Cavill. I love him as Superman.
Full deck Superman.
I wish we would have gotten a little more than just one line of, we need to talk.
Yeah, he's like, I hear you've been causing some problems over here, Black Adam. We should talk.
But, like, yeah, we all knew it was coming.
Especially
they kind of spoiled
like,
it in.
I can call people from other worlds.
Well, they even kind of spoiled it in the trailers, where he would say stuff like, "There's no one on this planet who can stop me." So it's like,
well, then we'll call somebody
Superman.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, even again, the dialogue was terrible. Even Waller on the nose. Well, then I'll call in favors from off planet. Okay.
Definitely, when it came to my gripes with the movie, a lot of it was dialogue choices.
Dialogue was very bad.
There was some pretty great dialogue moments, though, and there's some moments.
There's some funny moments.
Laughing.
I don't think it was because of the dialogue, though. I thought it was funny because of the situational humor.
Yeah, but I like situational humor.
I do, but that doesn't make the dialogue any good.
No.
I don't think the dialogue was good at all. I thought characters were pretty good.
I like the brother.
The brother was great.
Yeah.
He was great. We mentioned we were at dinner just kind of chit-chatting, and we're like, okay, our two major gripes, though, are... For you is the music, which I agree was terrible.
They have your superhero theme for Black Adam. He's got his theme music,
which
was fine.
Which was good.
Yeah.
It's not
that it was bad music.
Bad music.
It's that they changed their genre
at least four times.
So they had the hero theme, they had a hard rock moment, they had Western, and then they had pop culture.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait.
And it would jump in. It was not a smooth transition. They were out of place. At least twice it took me out of the movie. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, what is someone playing that on? Like, what's going on? It was not good.
Yeah.
Even though the Rock's theme, like as they play it, or the Black Adam's theme, he is Black Adam, as they play it, like at like the beginning and throughout the movie, is a good theme. Mm-hmm. It's pretty good. Other weaknesses are I don't like the kid. Now people know I'm not a fan necessarily of kid actors. I've been critical of other critical others. Well, and it's not necessarily their fault. They're just not experienced enough to be good actors. There's very few kid actors I'm like, I like you.
Yeah.
But not only do I think they weren't good actors, adding that on top of their dialogue was terrible. Anytime, and there's two kids in this movie, anytime they were in the movie, I'm like, oh my goodness. I was like, get back to somebody who's not you.
So, specifically with, like, the kid, is, like, they portray him to be, like, you know, I'm this cool kid, 14, 15-year-old, like, I listen to hard rock and I skateboard around. That was his persona in the beginning.
That's fine, yeah.
And then, yeah, that's fine. That's a 14-year-old boy who's living in Kahndaq. That made sense. But then later on, they're like, not all superheroes wear capes, but...
Here's a cape, yeah.
And he's, like, steady like this, and he's, like, posing in front of the mirror. It's like, that's not the same persona, like, at
also,
all.
that's kind of like an 8-year-old's
Exactly.
idea. That's not a 12-year-old. Like, even though we get some similar kind of moments in the Shazam movie, which I love that. Another good thing was the ties between the Shazam movie.
Like a 12-year-old
he was,
man's
yeah.
body.
That was really good. This was not good.
This was just a sudden weird flip. Like, you gave this kid who's kind of hardcore a cape, and now he's posing like he's 8.
Yeah.
But speaking of the other younger actors, I actually really liked Atom Smasher and Cyclone.
Okay, they're not younger though. They're like in their 20s.
Well, no, they were supposed to be kind of green, you know,
yeah.
fresh off the
I
shelves.
think they even said
stuff.
like she was like out of high school or something like that. Like,
so young enough though that they're not, you know, The Rock.
I thought they did fine. Atom Smasher was good.
He was kind of that dorky.
The Green Tornado or whatever her name is, Cyclone. Yeah. She was really good, and I like the way that they did her air magic or her aerokinesis.
Aerokinesis. I actually really enjoyed it.
That was pretty good.
It was colorful. See, and that's kind of, you were actually just saying something about like shadow magic, but I don't want it to be black. I want it to be purples and blues. Her air magic wasn't just air. There was color and life in it. And I was like, this is so cool.
It was much better than just blowy wind.
They really enjoyed their slow motion in this movie, though. It was very frustrating that every time she took a turn, it was in slow-mo. And I get it,
she's fast, but what I don't understand is
that speed.
They had Adam, and he was fast, but they didn't nearly as often with him slow him down. They did sometimes.
Yeah,
which again...
Like his intro, right, they're showing you he's done 50 things in this space that it took for him to flick one, you know, having flicked one thing away, by the time that lands, he's done another 50 things.
Yeah.
That was important for us to see how fast he actually is. I never got a sense of actually how fast Cyclone is because they kept slowing her down. I was like, I don't want to see this. And then I
liked the Justice League. Hawkman was good. Dr. Fate was good.
His helmet wings
his
were
horn
a
wings.
bit too big.
Yeah.
But otherwise...
Honestly, though, Hawkman... How do you translate to the big screen? I don't know, because it's kind of a funny costume as a...
I think, actually, the rest of his costume was pretty darn good.
It was pretty... The wings...
It was actually really just the wings on the helmet that bugged me.
Which I think goes to prove wings shouldn't be on helmets, because even...
You could even do a
Thor has wings on his helmet. has wings on his helmet in the first movie.
Yeah.
He only wears it once.
Yeah.
Because even people are like, nah, just kind of hold it here.
It looks a little hokey.
Yeah, and they kind of try to bring it back with like Ragnarok, which it kind of worked, where he kind of flips it up. That stylized look works.
It was kind of more like, you know, how Ant-Man has kind of pointies on. Like,
yeah.
That worked because it wasn't to the side and feathered and stuff.
Yeah.
It looked really nice on his second helmet.
But I like Dr. Fate.
Oh yeah, I was just coming to that.
It
was a little weird to not have
the eye
holes.
I like that they appeared later.
Yes.
I wish we would have mentioned something of Naboo. I think that's his name. I'm pretty sure that's his name. The spirit inside this, because you have.
She mentioned it that it's alive and it chooses who touches it.
They also said it was off planet though, so I guess we're not going with like its origin of like.
They said it came from another planet, not
which
even
is
just like another dimension.
Yeah, just off planet, which is weird. Because you have the orders of chaos and the orders of order, or the magics of order, and they kind of balance each other out. But I liked how they showed Dr. Fate's magic. That was good.
Oh, that was so cool. It was very fractal.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. Even when he made his little cross, whatever you call that symbol.
The sec thingy.
I don't know.
I know what you're talking
but
about.
Like
the loop with the
twice in the movie, he spears people with it, which he does in like comics and in the animated shows, because he kind of pins people in this light projected Doctor Strange cross thing. Ankh. It's an Ankh.
Yeah.
And I like how they showed like I'm trapped in this thing. Like it's not light. It's not solid. It's magic.
Yeah.
And so it was cool. I liked that.
Only thing I had really a gripe when it came to his outfit, which was super cool. There's loads of detail in his, just covered in runes and magic and the gold, but like his.
Even Adam's suit had a bunch of detail in it. It was pretty cool.
And Adam Smasher's like had some like.
It's vintage.
Looked awfully good for being vintage.
Yeah.
But Dr. Fate's his cloak was 100% CGI every single time, and I was like, it's too
billowy.
Obviously not like. Come on.
There was a few scenes of those where it was obvious.
And his gloves too. But I mean, otherwise I was like, that is Dr. Fate.
Yeah, pretty solid. Pierce Brosnan did a great job.
That's the actor?
Yeah.
He was great. In fact, I looked at him, I whispered over to you, I was like, that guy could be Taravangian for me.
Which,
I feel like
I don't know, I'd have to think about that.
He's got kind of like a kinder face, but I could see there being cunning in his eyes the way Taravangian is.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll think about it. I still haven't quite processed that yet, if I could see him as Taravangian.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else?
Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. Go read it.
Oh, yeah.
That's where Taravangian
Everybody should read it. Who else is in the movie?
So we have...
Oh, the final boss.
Oh, yeah.
Great design.
So Ishmael, who was...
who becomes Sabak.
Yeah.
The demon Sabak, where they have
the 6
chaos demons choose a champion of themselves rather than the wizards.
Yeah.
Which they tried to make it seem like the wizards have their champion, so we can have ours. You are not the opposite of the wizards.
Yeah.
The opposite of the wizards would be the Lords of Order, which is what Dr. Fate serves. You're not. You're the Lords of Chaos, basically. The opposite of the wizards would be the enemies of Shazam, right? Because basically, Shazam is the wizard. You know, say my name and you would take my power upon you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
So
they tried to make it be opposites, but they're not really, so I had a little bit of problem with that. But it looked cool. His design was cool.
Yes.
He comes out like a boss. I'm like, yep.
Yep.
I like that. I like his design.
Or the bad guy.
Yeah, I even like, I thought the final battle was pretty good. Wasn't great, but it was pretty good.
There actually wasn't a whole lot between Black Adam and Sabak.
But, Adam's escape from prison, that was kind of dumb. Because he's depowered, but he took out like 5 or 6 in SWAT gear. He's not wearing anything. I'm like, okay, I get you were a slave. let's even say you're trained. I don't care if you're trained. You're punching a guy in body armor. He's not gonna feel it. And so I don't know. And then like he dives into the water when
That's,
they're
like,
super
way
deep.
deep.
Yeah,
At least he didn't actually make it to the top. Like he
technically died.
technically died.
So, which I thought was a nice,
Yeah.
which was a nice scene, but like I didn't buy that.
Yeah.
There were some things I rolled my eyes at the believability, even though the story as a whole I thought was very natural, the progression, right? I'm an archaeologist, found this thing, I freed Adam, got, and now he has the thing. And so I thought the whole kind of the major progression, I thought they got pretty good. It just needed, they needed to tighten it up. They didn't quite think about the script as a whole. But the major story I thought worked pretty well.
So,
what do you want to say?
Coming back to the Court of Wizards too, we see that. So we see that the son gets the powers first. He was actually meant to be the champion, and he was good. He was a good kid, a great leader.
Much like Billy, right? So they were choosing the appropriate people.
Yeah, and but the old king realized the only way I can get to him is by going after those he actually loves. So his mother and his father. We'll get to the mother in a second.
Yeah.
But
I gotta look that up actually.
Dad is dying, and the kid says, "I want to pass my powers to you because I'm going to save you." And so Teth Adam gets the powers from his son, and basically his kid dies, and the Court of Wizards are like, "You're not supposed to have this power because he exacted this terrible revenge on the king." And they try to take it from him. And he kills 5 of the other 6 wizards. So there's only the 1 wizard left, which helped me because in the Shazam movie, there's only the 1 wizard.
Yeah, and
the Court of Wizards, where's the rest of them?
He even mentions that the other ones are gone though.
Yeah.
But
we got
he mentioned
that.
it's because they chose. They kind of break their own logic, right? Because it's like, well, last time we chose poorly, so that's why I'm being very cautious this time in choosing the right hero.
But they didn't choose.
They
poorly.
didn't choose. Which is the other thing, right? Because then that says, wait a second, he can pass on his powers.
Wasn't that what Shazam did to his siblings? Billy.
Yes and no. Billy, if I remember right, and it's been a while since I've seen it. He took them to like Shazam's place, right? And kind of like I think they all grabbed his staff, and then said his name.
Maybe.
So it was a little different than like him just passing on his powers. It was. I'm fine letting it go, but it didn't quite line up. It's the nuts and bolts thing.
It's an ask that I'm okay with taking.
Yeah.
So, but him just because you see them, they're hurling bolts of color at him, and you're like, come on. I mean, even Black Adam against 6 wizards got to be taken down. But then you flash, and 5 of them are down, and you're like, oh, he's a lot stronger than I realized.
Well, so that again, I have a problem with that though. If it's their power that they're giving to him, or at least power they know how to wield,
I think it's
why were they taken down so fast?
I don't think it was fast. I think that was just for the sake of
sake of the story.
Yeah, it was more like a time skip.
Probably because you couldn't have some awesome magical battle, even though I would have liked to have seen it.
Oh, 100%. Wizard battle.
Yeah. Wizards are kind of like dragons. They kind of make everything better.
Yes, wizards and dragons.
But I mean, again, I'm fine with the ask. I get it because it's not their story. It's Black Adam's story. It was pretty good. Do you want to get to...
Okay, so back to the mother real quick. So they point out her necklace, which is an unrefined Eternium, which means it's really not of much value because even if you did refine it, you'd have like nothing left.
Mm-hmm.
So she's got this very specific necklace. It's the 3 mountains attached together.
Yep.
And it was passed down to her from her grandmother, presumably from her grandmother before, and so on.
That's the implication,
for the
right?
5,000 years.
Yeah.
Up to the time of Teth Adams' actual life. His wife is wearing that necklace. So Teth Adams' wife,
I looked to see if they were the same actress. They are not.
Okay.
They look very similar, but they are not.
Yes. So, nothing from Teth noticing this necklace that his wife used to wear is around the neck of this woman who has been helping him.
I think they tried to wishy-wash some of that away by saying, well, it's been 5,000 years, so maybe he'll be disoriented. Apparently not that much, because he picked up language like that, which may or may not have been magic.
From the magic.
But
he picked up societal cues and things like Western shoot-downs.
So they make a joke, appropriately so, even though it's a bad and stupid joke. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, where you come from, they don't have doors? He's like, of course they do. That's how you enter and exit a room. Because he never freaking uses a door.
He doesn't even use the holes he originally smashed. He just smashes and he just floats through the wall.
But why? Why? Like, even the hole that you previously broke was right next to it. You're like, nah, I'm gonna smash a new hole.
Well, and the balcony windows or the balcony doors were open, but also it's like, I get it, okay, for the first one where he smashes through the kids' wall into the family room.
That was funny.
That one made a lot of sense.
That was good.
He's like, okay, you know what, you're in my way over here, I'm gonna go this way then.
Yeah.
And
your fault that there's a hole in the wall, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's on you, kid. And then he does it again to get out of their place, and that's just kind of him being like, you can't stop me, but then he kept doing it.
At every point, he just boom,
every point.
Boom, yeah.
And it's like, just it's also just the floating thing.
And so, had they made the joke where you come from, they don't use doors. Had they made that in the first 1 or 2 times that he broken through the wall, I would have chuckled because like, right? But because they waited till basically the end where he had broken through 50 or 60 walls, I'm like, now you're just pointing out a flaw in your own movie.
Yeah.
I was just like, and that's not funny, that's sad.
Yeah.
And so I didn't enjoy that.
Because there was the giant hole, and it was literally this big of a hole. Here's Black Adam. It's this big of a hole, and he goes right here.
Yeah.
Next to the hole.
It was ridiculous.
But yeah, so... I don't believe for a second that he saw this necklace and was like, I don't know what that is. His wife was wearing it.
So,
disorientation or anything else aside,
so here's where like movie logic comes in, right? You can only ask so much of the audience.
Sure.
Like, and like if at the end of the movie aliens came down, would be like, oh my goodness, what is going on? Mm-hmm. You can only ask so much. I can believe that he didn't recognize it if that was one of the only asks that they gave. And if we had only seen his wife in the beginning, but we kept getting flashbacks.
They specifically had a conversation about it, though, too.
And
had we not even had a specific conversation, it may have just been more fun to have been like, she's an archaeologist. So maybe she found that later on. But instead, they made a point of it. This is the thing that has been passed down through the generations to me back from when Kahndaq was at its height.
Which, not sure how that would have happened if she's dead. So, because Sun's gone. Yeah. He's gone. How do you pass down a necklace?
I don't know.
Me neither.
He didn't even make a single comment about it, though.
Yeah, so...
Just even a comment to have been like, my wife wore a necklace like that once. And then like, well, mine was found from your time and was passed down through the generations to me. And you'd be like... that would have been a nice home connection for him.
To me, what it felt like was much like when you make a video game, you add in a feature, but then that feature is never fully developed. Yeah. So it's like, wouldn't it be cool if we added, I don't know, a photo mode? And then it's like the crappiest photo mode.
The only thing you can do is take the picture in the direction you're taking. You can't do filters, you can't do anything else.
Yeah, it's like, well, obviously this was added in as a forethought, or the developers didn't have time to get to it, which is so often the case. But in a movie, even in a game, you can cut things out. It's like, if you didn't want that to happen, then you should have cut it out.
But also, they kept showing the symbol.
Yes.
They kept showing that 3-peak
symbol. It's a big part of the movie. The whole triangle.
They don't even really talk about that either.
Nope. In fact, it becomes...
They have it like as a symbol of the bad guys, and here she is with the necklace. Everybody can see it.
The
like
bad
you
guys,
wouldn't think like, oh, maybe you're part of the bad guys.
Or like it becomes a symbol of the people. Somehow carried over for 5,000 years.
Yeah.
But it's used so ineffectively. People just walk around like, hey, how you doing today? Hey, yeah I'm doing good. Yeah. How are you doing?
And the kid's like, let's all rise up. In his really weak voice, by the way.
And
he's like, let's rise up.
What are we doing? What are we doing, guys? Mm-hmm. I think the line is even, guys, what are we doing?
Yeah, why are y'all standing around? Let's rise up. And then they're like, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Triangle.
Now what?
Yeah, terrible. Like, again, I think they added it in there, much like a video game feature that never got developed. They wanted it to mean something.
They wanted it to be some kind of reverence or deifying of this champion, right?
But it is not.
And that's another thing. The only thing that I've ever seen that has actually had a religion or belief carry on over 5,000 years and still work is Legend of Zelda and the goddess Hylia. There's no changing that. Everybody believes in the goddess. It's been how many millennia since Skyloft, whatever.
That is established, right? Mm-hmm. It's not like in Zelda, you go to a different town and be like, hey, did you ever hear of the goddess Jim?
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You don't have different religions in each city. It's all one monolithic tradition.
Unless Kahndaq has just been
that isolated
which
is not the case, because they've said for 5,000 years it's been one tyrant after another, which means you would have people cycling through there constantly.
All sorts of religions, beliefs, cultures. Also, 5,000 years is a really long time.
It's a really long time.
For Kahndaq to even still be called Kahndaq
is completely unbelievable.
600 BC.
Yeah.
That's there's a lot that I just can't believe about this city. That apparently they all still believe in this mythical champion from ye old days. That they all even know about this.
Yeah, taught in schools or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, because if you look at the closest comparison we have, which it's supposed to be akin to, is Egyptian culture, right?
Yes.
Who in school knows anything about Egyptian culture? Like if someone's like, hey...
I know Egyptian mythology, and that's about as
But that's because we
like
like mythology.
Yes.
But if you went to someone on the street...
Which our oldest kid was like, isn't that stuff you like learn in college is like all the mythologies? And we're like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, don't all the adults know it?
No, we just like that stuff.
We're just nerds.
But like, if you went to someone out on the street and said, who is Egypt's greatest hero other than Moses? Like, who is Egypt's greatest mythological hero? I don't know. Can you point to a hero in
They
Egypt?
Probably couldn't tell you anything further than the god of the sun was Ra. Like, that's
Maybe.
kind of just been put out in a lot of different things.
Maybe, just because Ra has kind of persisted in pop culture, right? Because it's the most iconographical thing in the culture.
That's about as far as you're probably going to get.
But that's it. It's like, we know he's Ra, he might be the god of the sun. But people, like, they know his name, they know all about... He was, like, showing him in a book.
Yeah,
Look, in this book.
It's like the history of Kahndaq. It's like, okay, but how many people have actually read that? Apparently all of them.
Yeah, apparently.
This must be like Bible reading in this city. Crazy the amount of culture that got passed on, to the point where it's because even Egypt, we're talking, I think ancient Egypt goes back further, but I think technically... Said before the pyramids, before Babylon.
Right, but I'm just talking about our culture, right? Yeah. So if we're talking about Egypt, we're talking 3,000, maybe 4,000 years. They decided to go back further and to expect us to believe that they know.
Still know these things like it's their Tuesday morning conversations.
Completely unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I liked the actress as the mom. I liked the brother. I even liked the crown that they had. That was pretty cool.
That looked heavy.
It did.
They even pointed out they're like 23 pounds of, and he's like...
Must have had a heavy neck.
Really,
yeah.
Really strong neck. Not until I broke it.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
But he didn't even break his neck. Again, they throw these things in there, and then they don't think about it. He's like, not until he broke his neck. You didn't break his neck. You exploded him with your lightning power across the room. You didn't even touch the guy.
That's another thing, though, about his explosions. So he does this twice. Great. I'm getting spam comments. Can I, like... How do I turn that off?
You can block them.
I can block them.
You can block them, yep.
So
while you're working on blocking them, let me talk about something else that I liked. A lot of the stuff in this movie was very foreshadowed. Extremely foreshadowed. Like, you see the movie coming beat for beat. But one of the things I liked was the son, when he passed on his power, I liked that sacrificial the hero sacrificing himself so his father could live, even though his father becomes the villain, anti-hero.
Yeah.
It was still pretty good.
Even in the afterlife, though, he's like, he says to his son, he's like, I wasn't the hero, and he's like, that's okay.
Yeah, you're not meant to be a hero.
You're not meant to be the hero.
Yeah.
Which that little afterlife thing, I was kind of like, I'm okay with this. I was a little confused at first because I was like, is this another flashback or what's going on? And then I was like, oh, no, he did.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically all I have to. Do you have anything else you want to say about the movie?
I liked that we didn't have to have like some wacky huge background on, like they're just like, here's Dr. Fate, here's Hawkman, here's Cyclone, and here's Atom Smasher.
And it worked really well.
It actually worked. And,
yeah.
I mean, we got a little bit about who they were, and especially like when it came to Cyclone, he's like, whoa, that's like so cool. It's like a miracle the way you healed him. She's like, no, it was just the nanites. And then she tells him, she's like, they were put in me when I was kidnapped at 15 by some crazy scientist.
That's how you tell a story, though.
Yeah,
through dialogue.
That's kind of all I really need to know about you right now.
Yeah.
I know what your powers are. I know that you're super smart, and I know a bit of your history that got you to where you are. I want your story going forward.
Yeah. So I overall, I thought the movie was enjoyable. I think if you like The Rock, you'll like the movie. It's not really a go back to, but I will say I cannot wait for Henry Cavill and The Rock to be in the same movie, or even just another Superman movie.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing I'm most excited about. But I mean, that's all I gotta say. You want to tag anything else on there?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. If you want to go see a movie, go see Black Adam. I mean, I think it's worth going to see.
It is worth going to see. Definitely go check it out in theaters. That's probably the best way to see it.
Because you can really get some of that detail, too, that you can't quite notice.
There's a lot of darks and blacks. Even, I guess I do have another comment. At the beginning of the movie, there's a lot of dusty washing because they're in a mine. So you get, but the ground is white. So you get like a white powder all over the place. So it becomes a very...
skins get broken, so the white gets stuck to them.
But imagine white sand under the sun. It becomes very kind of blinding and all washed out. Not a very good looking scene. And so on your TV, might not look that great. In a theater, looked pretty good, but still wasn't the best use of color or anything.
But because you know the situation, it worked. I think it actually worked pretty well.
It worked, but I'm saying on a TV that might not come across.
Yeah. It might seem like something's wrong with it, but it's actually not.
Yeah. But anyway.
Go see the movie.
Yeah. We'll probably be back either today or tomorrow talking about...
Like and subscribe.
Something else. I know we have another video planned.
Yeah, we do. I need to get those screenshots done.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.